Well,
right now.
Okay, my name is Laura J. Underwood. I am the first assistant here at the Carter Branch Library, and when I'm not working here at the Carter Branch, I am an author. I write mostly fantasy and science fiction, so I'm kind of into that vein of fiction anyway. Several years back, I got approached about doing some courses with the teens and trying to come up with programs to get more teens coming into the library and everything. And we were discussing, my boss and I were discussing, which is Melanie Rose, we're discussing what we could do to lure them in more. And one of the things we kind of discussed was the fact that graphic novels were very popular with teenagers. We decided that since we were trying to build a graphic novel collection, it might be a good idea to try and teach a graphic novel writing class. What we had started out was I'd actually done a teen writing class where I worked with teenagers and showed them how to, organize their thoughts, get their work together, get their materials together, do their research, look for their markets. So I did sort of the same sort of thing with the graphic novel kids. We basically started out, we just discussed the history of graphic novels, everything from the manga and what was popular in Japan, what sort of started this big race, but the fact that graphic novels also have kind of a history with comic books in general. And we took it from there to discuss how to do artwork. We set up a program where we showed them, how to actually manipulate figures. I gave them, information about perspectives, how to draw and do that. We talked about storyline, how to organize your story. We set it up so that I would say take a short story, your favorite short story, and script it out. And I showed them how to do a script for a graphic novel. Because when you're writing a graphic novel, you actually have to write a script first. And in fact, if you talk to most comic book publishers, they look for two different things. They look for people who can do art, and they look for people who can write a script. And the script gives the artists an idea how to set their panels up. So we discussed, what you do to close-ups, far-aways, different types of shots that you can do. We took it from there to just finding out, once you've got the novel written or your graphic novel written, then what are you going to do with it? And we discussed the various forms of publication, which is everything from approaching the different publishers out there like Dark Horse, because there's a lot of little independent publishers. Dark Horse is one of them. IGA Comics, there's a couple of others out there. And these people will actually publish, they'll look at work by newcomers. And we also discussed the fact that you can go to conventions where they have artists and authors who are there selling their graphic novels, discuss with them what you could do. Some of them will actually do sessions where they'll sit with a young artist or a young writer and discuss what their project is and look at their stuff and give them advice on it. So we discussed that, we discussed marketing, and in general, we just kind of built it around the fact that this is something, it's not something to be ashamed of. The biggest problem you have when you're doing a project with teens, for instance, is trying to convince them that what they're doing is not useless, not worthless. And I find that teenagers, if you encourage them in one field, they will go out and find ways to do really good things in other fields.